Anybody use a shock trap? PvP. See what it's like. Oh my god. About to be dead. Give me up, give me up, give me up.
Hostage situation. Fuck off! Medical assistance needed.
Man, don't.
Oh my gosh.
Man, back, stop.
Oh boy, you might want to put that shotgun down, son. You know what I realized about PvP in the Division 2? And it's been like this for a long time. But it's the fact that almost every build that you decide to run has the possibility to melt. And going against the meta will always be an uphill battle. But what can I say? I love the challenge. And sometimes this build honestly makes it look easy. I have never hit this hard with the Scorpio. But check it. I didn't even intend to end up using it as much as I do. I guess it just speaks to the versatility of this build. It's deadly from so many angles. And I've never made a build with the Dark Winter up until now. But man, is it a beast with what I have set up here. So let's get right into how I made it. Alright, so originally I had this whole idea of utilizing damage to targets out of cover in a way that makes the Val mask hit really hard. Because that mask is one of the only gear pieces that scale with damage to targets out of cover. But Fox's prayer knee pads just could not fit on this build based on how I wanted it to be. So let's start out with the weapons. And as I said, I'm rocking with the Dark Winter SMG. I got it from a DZ vendor. They were selling it recently. And at first I thought it was 30%. But no, it's 50% critical hit damage you gain when you kill an enemy with a crit. With all the buffs going on in this build, this thing absolutely shreds. My secondary is a Scorpio. I was shocked with how hard this hit in both PvP and PvE. Legendary at that. I'm talking about chunking enemies. This is not for no reason though. There's so much going on in this build, which is why it hits like that. First, I got the Val mask, which activates toxic delivery if you cause a status effect. I could do that with so many things, Jam Repulse, Scorpio, or whatever other skill you decide to run just as long as it's status. But here's the thing, once they get hit with toxic delivery, Perfectly Wicked activates, which is my backpack talent. Already has 10% status effects for its brand, so you're good to roll crit chance and damage. Now I put together a similar stat combo in my Battle Angel build, which was crit damage and status effects. The reason why is because since I'm using the Dark Winter, it's an SMG. It natively comes with a massive amount of crit chance, which means you don't need that much in order to max it out, leaving room for you to roll another attribute of your choosing. And status effects is another attribute which only requires that alone to be strong. It's also what attributes to the Vile's toxic delivery talent. That along with explosive resistance, so I'm sure it's obvious to you why I have the gear pieces I have. 2-piece Grupo and 1 China Light are the only gear that give you the explosive damage. You could get more with the demolition specialization, but if I did that, I wouldn't be able to get the technician specs linked laser. I need it for the chest piece I'm using, which is Spotter. This talent has so much utility, man. For your team, your damage, it's the perfect talent. And hold up, let me quickly explain to you why the Scorpio hits so hard in this build. Just imagine an enemy coming towards you. Then you pull your Scorpio out and boom, automatically you begin to see people's armor get chunked. Remember, you got toxic delivery activating as soon as you shoot them with almost fully maxed explosive damage and status effects. Wicked then activates along with the crit you have stacked on your build. Boy, that's a lot of damage. Same goes for the Dark Winter. It also melts, but in a different way, because with this you have Spotter. So many damage buffs in this build. I would like to have a bit more status effects roll, but didn't want to sacrifice any more crit, which is why I decided to get the 2 pieces of gear that already have status on them. Perfectly Wicked backpack and my final piece, the Firm Handshake Name Sokolov gloves. These cover the Dark Winter's SMG damage as well as an extra 15% status effects because it's a named talent. Now you see why I couldn't include the Fox's Prayer knee pads, right? Plus, it feels pretty good wearing something else for a change besides meta pieces and still be able to wreck with it. And plus, I got another build planned for the Fox's Prayer knee pads that's similar to this one, but uses a different stat composition. I don't know, man. It seems like this is kind of like the secret to Hybrid's damage. I might make a separate video just explaining this concept. So the skills are pretty much your choice, but what I found super effective is the Jammer Pulse. Because in legendary content, when going against Black Tusk, the Jammer deals insane damage to robotics over time, and when you use the Jammer Pulse. For 1, it disables them while dealing damage. 2, it activates toxic delivery, and 3, on a technician spec tree, dismantling grants extra damage to robotics and skill proxies. So I think it's safe to say that the Jammer Pulse is what you want for your first skill. My second skill I kept changing depending on the situation, and I must say that the shock trap was so awesome. I mean it's situational, especially in PvP, because all somebody has to do is jam your skill and all of the shock traps are just destroyed. It happened to me a couple times and it wasn't pretty. And the great thing about the shock trap with this build is that I have 3 skill tiers, so it gave me a significant amount of traps which were so effective as well. Whatever you decide to use, make sure it's one with status effects so you can maximize this build's potential. I think that's everything I wanted to say about this build, and if I missed anything, then let me know down in the comments. Here are the stats, and now you can see why the Dark Winter is so perfect for this. By default, I have 50% crit chance and 150% crit damage. Once the Dark Winter's talent activates, this shoots all the way up to 200% crit damage. So yeah, this build is a beast. If you put it together, tell me what you think of it. Until next time, my YouTube family, be right out.